back to control. Okay, so I need to go right over here. Oh, synchronicity lab. Okay. I quite like the J.J. Abrams type title thing. Huh. It's like a crash test dummy course. Okay. I quite like I know it's like proper old like style, but I quite like it when they have like a hole recessed into the floor and you have like a table or like, you know, like some sofas or some shit. So yeah, I need to go into mirror testing, but I want to check what's up here first. Some more of these, alright. Okay, let's go test some mirrors. This was an interesting object. Okay. Oh, another control point.
Altered item here.
Is this a fake room? Okay. I wasn't sure if this was a real point or not. Still not entirely sure. Oh, I can. Oh, I still need 2 more house memories. But I can get some more of these, but I'm not too bothered about those. I think just upgrading this is a better idea, right? Still need to do those jukebox ones as well. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Debrief for Mirror Excursion 7C. Subject is Agent Hardy. Hardy spent approximately 3 hours in the mirror. It's the longest time on record.
Damn, okay.
Can you describe your experience inside, Agent Hardy?
Oh shit! Alright, now we're getting to Twin Peaks level.
Agent Hardy is physically healthy. All tests have come back clean. Yet the species has persisted for hours.
Yeah, right, I was thinking the phrasing of that was a bit odd too, right? Can you describe your experience inside Agent Hardy? Wow. It's quick and brief, but...
I recommend a battery of tests and a Class Orange quarantine.
Well, at least get some oranges. So let's read about this mirror. Yeah, the mirrored mirror. The proposal is to finally determine the precise nature of the reflected space within the altered item. Is it transplanar, psychologically generated, or rooted within our own dimension? How does the altered item know the spaces in its vicinity well enough to reflect it? Why does it reflect some materials but not others? Is the space a parallel reality? If so, then we need to consider that while we possess this physical end of the mirror, someone else owns the other. What purpose might they use for it? Can they walk through into our world? What are their motives? Lastly, to what purpose does the altered item produce the reflections of the individuals that can enter it? Can these reflected entities leave the altered item? As with the altered items, we need to attempt to distinguish if this behaviour is booblabadoopadabba. Don't know what that last bit would mean, though. Wait. Wait. No, fuck off. No, you're a piece of shit. the mirror down there? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Did I complete the game? I think I did it. Yeah, I'm assuming there's going to be a sequence that some of these are meant to be closed and some of them are meant to be open or some shit.
Looks like there's a mirror in there.
So something can, if you can read, you can read this, the mirror. Is the mirror trying to talk to me? Trying to say I can read it? Let me see what it says on the other side. Attention, if you can read this, you are inside the mirror. Am I inside the mirror? The fuck?
The shutters in the image look different.
Oh yeah, they do. Okay, so I've got to put the furthest one down on the left. So cover the furthest left. And leave all of those open? No, 2 of those are down, sorry. But am I going to be doing this the right way? So the one that the camera's on, 2 nearest the mirror need to be shut. Camera's on that side. So this one, I think it was like this one. And then the other one was the 2 nearest it. That one might have been wrong, but that's fine. Check that.
What am I missing?
So that one's on the wall. It's the 2 open, 1 at the back. Yeah. So it's this one that should be closed.
What do these shutters do?
They've done what they do, I think. And I'll do Stream Raiders in just a moment. Those 2 down, the back one up. Those 2 up, back one down. Maybe I've done it the wrong way round. Maybe I needed to. Okay, let me do Stream Raiders quick. Okay, let's get going. Let's fuck them up, yo. Yes, it's annoying to see the right angles. Yeah. I need to make sure I'm definitely on the correct side, but I'm clearly still missing something though. He's a pretty big boss, but we got him. He weren't no match for us. Beautiful. Nice one, everybody. And the winners on that one are Almighty and Raven Tekken Q. Nice. Boss defeated. Beautiful. So, we on to the next bit now, yo. Let's go this way to that blue dino. So, first level. Do your best, probably. Yeah. Okay, let's look at these again. So that mirror's on... So we're on the... So if that's mirrored, then it's technically on the right wall? But is there just two separate cameras? Why have I got the middle shutter down on this one? Oh, there is a camera on both sides. I was just being an idiot. Okay. No, wrong one.
You big dummy!
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Shed. So this is on the right hand side, so we need just the shutter the furthest away from the camera to be shut, which I believe is correct. That's this one. And then these two are open. And that was the one on the right, so this one will be the one on the left. So then it's shut, open. You did this one by accident, fair. So... So, as far as I'm aware, that should be it. I mean, is there another button I'm meant to press, or is this thing meant to open once I get it right? Oh no, that one did have the mirror. Oh no, mirror supplement. So she just went nuts. Okay, that doesn't help us. Can't remember if there was a button to press when you find the combination. That's what I feel like should be the case, right?
Debrief for Mirror Excursion 7C. Subject is Agent Hardy. Hardy spent approximately 3 hours in the mirror. The longest time on it. Can you describe your experience inside, Agent Hardy?
And I'm guessing I must just have to get it right and then it clicks into place. Let's see if she makes any comment, because now one of these should be wrong. Will she make a comment about it?
I recommend a battery of tests and a Class I card.
So she said nothing about that. Oh, she's not saying shit about that, okay.
What a weird way to lock something up.
Wait, did I just get it? I've done that. I did that combination before, though. Weird. I definitely... I was sure I'd done that before. Yeah, there we go. Oh shit, they're indestructible. Here we go. Okay.
Wait, that didn't sound right.
What do you mean? Sounds perfect.
Yeah,
And the upside
that's
down,
not
yo.
good.
Oh. Oh, I haven't seen... Oh, there it is. Oh no, which one do they want me to do? So just both got post-it notes on them. So I'm gonna guess that one. I wasn't actually paying attention. So the clue for that you think is in the other side, oh, the correct side of the mirror. Or it'd probably, oh, it'd be the opposite of whatever which one of these is the right one anyway. 2 something. So this one would need... So a Y and the flower type thing. It'd be the other way around, wouldn't it? So... How do I even do that? I'll come back to that in a moment. Oh, we'll be able to hear him. We'll be able to hear this other dude actually speak now, right? Push down twice to change things to the camera circles.
I
Right.
can't understand you. You need to listen. I saw something in there. There is something inside. You need to lock down the mirror.
Wow.
Why are you talking like that? What's wrong with you? All of you. There's something in that fucking mirror.
She is saying what we're all thinking. Oh, I can't go out of here. Alright, we're free.
Did you see that? Someone's in there. Hurry, Nanomasu. Wow.
Oh. Well, that's not good. Yeah. I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to seem presumptuous. Oh. Legs for safety. That doesn't look like me. Unless it's like Mirror Me, but Mirror Me looks a bit cooler. You can push down. Oh yeah, I've already read that. Oh yeah, I have another costume I can wear now. I keep forgetting about that.
That's not good.
I'd be more worried that you're thinking in normal ways, because now when you go back out you might be speaking in normal ways, but you might be thinking backwards. Which would just be annoying. That's where I came from? Yeah. Okay. So maybe that freaky lady will be back down here now. By freaky lady, I mean me. How do I get that corner dash though? Yeah, because I'm not even sure how I would get that like Y mark there. Like you said, it might be in the other bit. Can I just go back through whenever I want? Nope. Okay, I'm stuck here till I figured it out. Okay, so it's definitely no clue there, so it has to be one of the pictures around here or something. Could be like that one. That's quite far away. Usually they put it fairly near it so it's still like memorable, right? Because you probably won't remember that one. Let's try that one, fuck it. So excuse me. So that's basically it, but oops shit. I want to put the little dot there. That's it, right? That's the opposite version of that, at least, like the mirrored version. Yeah, because I just did that, but with that black dot on the right, because it's the mirrored version. Maybe I just need to do it the other way because we're still in the mirrored world. Maybe I had it right and actually shouldn't have moved it to this side. But then that one is like that one. Or have I done that the wrong way? No, because I darkened the areas that needed to be darker, right? Or is that meant to be like inverted colour? Oh. Well, shit. That's a bit harder for me to see the sign now. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Anything up here? Oh, no, just smashed my head on the lights. So the clue for this is in the real world and on the left side, not the right. Right, I can't get back to the real world at the moment. So maybe it's that one? Because that's the one we got at the moment. Yeah, maybe we need to try that one to just the center is darkened. Can I see the real world from here? Is it genuinely not? So is it not in this room? So, but what happens to people like me who maybe didn't take notice of all the symbols in that room and they've come through the mirror now? Like there must be something in here that tells me what I'm meant to be doing, though, right? Otherwise that seems like a major flaw, because otherwise your player's just trapped in here forever. How do I do the middle? Is that even possible? Must be more I'm missing in here, maybe? Because... heard some whisperings down there. I believe I missed that box with the code on it. What box with the code on it? Is that something I've missed? Right, as in you didn't do the mission, or as in you had to like look it up kind of thing? Some of the other glass broke, so I was hoping that would too. Oh, hang on. Oh, obviously it needs to come back over to this side. Fucking Darth Tower. Okay. Okay. So just let me keep following her. There's nothing on the TV that's showing me. Alright. So maybe she's in the bedroom bit now. Oh, now I've got to defeat evil Jessie. Okay. Did you fight evil Jessie? Like evil reverse Jessie?
Nothing but a pale imitation.
Where'd she go? Her life's still like half there. Oh, there she is.
Another one?
Can't see shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, I was trying to catch that, but I should have just shot her really. Am I gonna have to face like non-backwards Jessie at some point and then be like, oh my god, I was the villain all along?
That explains why they locked this mirror up.
Fucking hell. Whew. Hey, Enzo, how you doing today, dude? Am I doing any RP tonight or just control? I will potentially be jumping on some RP. Might do some taco shit. Also, Bakura, so... Hey, Amaka, how you doing today as well? So, I'm guessing this had fuck all to do with shit? Jesse's spirit. Oh, Jesse's speech inside of the mirror. Shit, I'm inside. Testing, testing. My name is Jesse Faden. Hello, someone else in here? Hey there, Jesse Faden. Jesse, I'm much wilder than you. Hey, where are you going?
What the Bureau was doing with this thing.
Right, when you're thinking of taking Buckaroo in his first solo shift? Probably soon. Probably Wednesday. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be around or not tomorrow. Maybe a little bit like late tomorrow, but like, if not, probably Wednesday I'll actually go on like proper solo shift with Buckleby.
Well, it's cleansed now. The hiss is gone. It's dealt with.
Okay, but now I should be able to see the code, yeah. Okay. So that's what it needs to look like, but the opposite way round, right? So I need the bottom and left to be fat, dot on the right, triangle at top. Do you know what? I'm just going to take a picture of it on my phone. Because I don't have the RAM in my brain, you know? Let's go. Man's stick filmer. No, right, you take it easy, Mojo, baby. And you have a great one. Let me know if you find a good one or a trash one that turns out to be quite fun, because it's trash, you know? Okay. So on that side fat, that side off. I think just... Yeah, there we go. Okay, sick. Okay. Yeah, I don't feel too worthwhile. Are you on it at the moment? No, Ends. Is there many paramedics on? Okay, so we've done that mission. Cool beans. Maybe we'll do the... Yeah, let's do the record one next, I guess. Because you're saying we can't do this one until we've done another side mission, right, Bakura? I can't get the paper lantern until I've done another thing. Ooh, 4 for abilities, eh? So energy, health, melee, launch damage, seize duration, and levitation. What's this one? That's 2. That's 2. Let's do this, and I'll finish off energy. So we have loads of energy and extra launch damage. Nice. Yeah, okay, cool. Do I need to construct? It says construct. Do I actually need to make this before I can do the jukebox mission? I should see Artie again soon, actually. He's probably got loads of rooms for me to clear. I'm not gonna lie as well. I'm hoping on my first EMS as a proper you know, out of training. I'm kind of hoping that there'll still be some other people on duty as well. Because if it's just me, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm panicking now. What are you saying?
I don't think I ever told you this, but I was actually on the path to being a ranger once.
Power Ranger?
With the
That's
whole boot
crazy.
camp thing. Even got rookie status.
I didn't even know Power Rangers did that
not
sort of
the
shit.
point. My old ranger squad was a great bunch.
Sure.
There was 6 plus me.
That's 7.
Remus, Hazard, Cho, Guy, Heptonstall, and Thompson. They were supposed to get back from an expedition yesterday. We had beers and wings planned.
Why weren't you with them?
Problem is, they weren't here when Darling handed out the HRAs.
Then they had nothing protecting them from the hiss.
You see, they prepped for the worst, but I think that we're already past that. We all wore
The
these
Magnificent Seven
patches
were the
around our neck,
tame one.
and I really don't want the hiss to get them. Could you find him for me? The squad would have come back through maintenance, but they probably spread out from there.
I'll keep an eye out for them, Arish. And I won't let them stay hiss.
Oh shit. I'll find your friends and murder them for you.
Me too. You're not the only one who's busy, you know.
Well, sometimes it fucking feels like it in this place. Okay, so... It's like right here. Use the token in the jukebox. Oh.
Lots of errors on.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the jukebox one now, yeah. I just need to find said jukebox.
This is Lynn Salvador, head of Bureau
Tie
Security.
another ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been some old years. Do you still eat peas? Oh, here's a jukebox. Can't power punch anything either, that's annoying. Alright. 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 Challenging expedition that grants rare rewards. Oh, okay. Oh, it's just gonna be boss fight shit. Oh no, just okay, I see. Wait, hold up. Player shatter damage minus 75%. Does that mean if I use shatter, it's gonna be 75% less useful for the next hour? Logan Paul wore a Charizard Pokemon card necklace before entering the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Damn. Right. Okay. So it's not necessarily really like a site. It's just more a way to make the game more challenging, I guess. I don't know if I'll be playing this for another hour, though. I really enjoy using Shatter. It's hard, yeah. I think I'll just leave this shit for now. It just sounds like if you want to give yourself more of a challenge more than anything, hey. Floyd is the GOAT, but can't knock out a kid with only like 2 professional fights under his belt. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch any of it. I know like Floyd Mayweather's older and shit now, but yeah. Fucking Logan Paul's only been boxing for like a couple of years, right? But he's probably taken a shitload of steroids, you know. Tyson would have had that issue in his heyday. He's the GOAT. Yeah, man. Oh, fucking Tyson, it was just maniac. Like, I don't watch boxing. I'm not into it. I still think it's kind of a weird sport that exists. But, like, there's the odd things like, yeah, Tyson was just a beast. I mean, he'd fucking eat your ear off. Okay, so we're... Oh, yeah, shit, I can change my outfit. Yeah, that's actually changed from this drab. Yep, that's way better. I'm just in my fucking prison pajamas. Nice. Boxing is all a fix, has been for decades. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I feel like surely if Floyd Mayweather had wanted to knock the shit out of him, he could have knocked him out. Let's be honest, right? Like, come on. P7, baby. I can't fly in this room. That's... Wow. It's just wow. Oh yeah, let's do old friends. Defeat. Oh, they are 100% definitely his corrupted then. It's no ifs or buts. They're definitely his corrupted, and we're gonna have to murder them all. So we're doing his troopers. Maybe we should do. We get rid of that one. His guards or his distorted. Does it say what any of them are? Just his corrupted. But it's all in maintenance. So let me check. Do any of these say like maintenance? Nah. Oh, executive. Executive. Alright, fuck it. So maintenance. Alright. Yeah, didn't fucking Floyd Mayweather say something like he'd earned like 45 or 50 million from that fight? Like he'd said that as his like winning thing, or before he started the match, or something like along those lines. Oh, Loki's out already. Oh shit, I didn't know that. I knew it was coming out soon, but I completely forgot to like check when. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we have to fucking check it out. Probably had bonuses if it went to the... Yeah, oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Like, because, I mean, let's be real. Even if you are a bit older and you're fighting like a young guy, like, Floyd Mayweather was probably learning boxing from a very young age, whereas Logan Paul's only just got into it. Like, yeah, if he punched one of us in the face, we would die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he could have knocked him out. But blatantly said, look, if you go the whole 8 rounds with him, don't knock this kid out. You're already getting like that 40 million there. We'll give you another 20 mil on top. We just want to boost this kid. I want to see him just like he's obviously doing. And like the other thing as well, it's like it's all exhibition, right? Like their fight last night, it didn't count. It didn't count for the stats on either Floyd Mayweather or on Logan Paul. Like the fuck's that about? Like why is he doing only exhibition matches? If he's such a good boxer, be a boxer. Get in the ring. You know, do actual fights every week and try and win a belt and shit. Because then we would definitely watch that prick get knocked out a lot, and that would be quite a fun thing to watch on YouTube. Alright, let's fight. There are a few things I wouldn't do for 50 million, and getting punched in the face by Floyd Mayweather isn't one of them. Yeah. Yeah, you'd be lucky to die. Because the only other option is you're just a vegetable after that punch. So, like, you know, that would be the best option that could happen for you. But it's like, I'm sure a few of you have seen, I can't remember his name now, but there was this like dude who was like posting footage online for a while where he would just go into like random boxing gyms or go up to random people and just like try and fight them, and then would always run away before he lost to like try and be like, oh, I'm a lost than that. But he got his like arse handed to him by was it Floyd Mayweather who actually decked him? Some like professional boxer just proper toyed with him. But yeah, you know who I mean. Yeah, absolute arsehole, man. Like full on. Anybody who punches this man is punching him too light. Like that much of a dickhead. But yeah, like but like even that, like that dude was rocked. You know, that dude was rocked, and I'm sure he was an actual. He obviously did at least practice somewhat boxing. You know what I mean? Like but he got rocked hard by them. That's the one. That's the one. Forget his name, but yeah, that's it. Oh, actually, I don't know if he is Russian or if it's it might be. I'm pretty sure it might have been American. Oh no, maybe he has a like Eastern European name or background. I think it was in America, but actually, yeah, he does not necessarily means he was American. He might have just gone there to like front on those people. Am I heading towards the janitor's office? Oh, that was one of the people. Did I just defeat them? Oh, sweet. They were ridiculously easy. Let's go see. While we're here, let's go see Artie. Wrong way. It's like Ukrainian or something, but lives in Florida. Oh, right, okay, that would make sense then, yeah.
That's the reason they can go. You need to script. They are very good lists back.
I went through too many things for you there, didn't I, buddy? Oh no, you carry on. You jump on a 5M for a bit, maybe see you later. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, fucking hell, it's already like 9 o'clock. I'll probably try and defeat these Hiss corrupted people and go from there. It's pretty funny, I haven't been back to some of these areas since I got like the levels up, so like even that clearance 2 door apparently I'd never been in. I'm definitely going to run away now though. Oh, I did come down here, didn't I? Yeah. Alright, so let's go back this way, yeah. Yeah, cheers for dropping by, Enzo, dude, and yeah, I'll possibly see it. Are you playing Enzo or are you playing Paul tonight? Let me just do this to like put a save point of sorts down, you know. What about if I go this way then? Is that alright? Yeah, I'm definitely going the wrong way now. Hiya! Hey guys. Okay, so let's go to this one and hope that I can walk down to the energy converters. Getting fucked. They fell hard. Okay, let's go back to this one. Speed run this with the fast travels. So let's go to the Atlas chamber, yeah. Then there's one up and then down in Black Rock. Cool. I'm very sorry for that dude whose name I always forget because, oh shit. Right, give me the fucking gun I'm on. Hells yeah. Whew. That wasn't the dude I... Oh, that was the dude I wanted. Even better. Okay. So, Black Rock... Oh yeah, do I get to it up here? This is where the control panel bit is, isn't it, at least? Yeah, cool. Also, I hate that she, like, she'll just, like... I don't know if it's, like, politeness or something, but she can't use her powers in some places. But just, like, why not? Just dart, you know? I'd be knocking every fucker over if I could. Okay. Let's go through this door where there's the fire coming. Okay, nice. How did I get in this bit? Over here. Cool. Speedrunner this motherfucker now. Oh, did I get something here? Hey, sweet, they counted as a trooper. Beautiful. Shatter projectile choke. I might have to check that out. What's that about? So, his sorted his guards, shatter maneuvers. Kill without getting hit. Kill his snipers in the containment sector using shatter without getting hit. Alright, we'll give it a shot, I guess. Let me quickly upgrade my gun too. So what do we have? Rate of fire and the recoil. I don't know if the recoil is really that necessary, you know? Just get rid of... Oh shit, no, I didn't want that one. No, perfectly. I need to destroy it. Okay, so proceed damage. Projectiles fired, projectile boost. I don't really know what that one is. Oh yeah, this was the shatter projectile choke, projectile spread. Okay. Right, so it's less concentrated, I guess. Kind of like it at the moment, though, because it still hits at a fairly decent distance. I think maybe projectiles fired over the recoil. Yeah, we'll give it a go for now. Fuck it. Okay. So we need to go to the coolant pumps and Black Rock Quarry. So I think we need to go to the furnace. That one. Cool. And Infinite! How you doing today, buddy? It's been a wee little while. Hope you've been keeping well. And doing swell, dude. We're just currently playing some Control. I've got this game until the 10th. And I don't know if the 10th... I don't know if the 10th cuts off, like, straight away as it hits the 10th, my Xbox Game Pass is over. Or if it's, I have until the end of the 10th. I think it's me getting less sooner. Probably more than anything. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is where I want to go. I think. Yeah. Oh, you just finished Resident Evil 8. Nice. Yeah, but basically, Bakura's playing it, but I'm doing like a... he's playing it on his channel, and I'm doing like a co-commentary as he plays it kind of thing. Because before we both started streaming, we actually played Resident Evil 7 together. So it's a cool one to like both of us be able to, you know, like sort of reminisce over it and shit. But yeah, we've been enjoying it so far. We've only done what, 2-3 hours or so, but it's been thoroughly enjoyable. But yeah, you're saying it's fully legit. Oh, is this one of the invisible cunts? It is as well. I hate these things so much, man. You finished Outlast now? Yeah, man. That was actually another game that both myself and Bakura played together, like before we streamed. But yeah, Outlast is it's one of those games that like it's freaky because you can't fight back like at all. There we go. 1 year, 9 months, and 5 days. Fucking A. Oh, time flies, hey. Yeah, that little turn she did look sick. Okay, now I need to go the like opposite way, right, to the furnace chamber. Just do that quick. End of 2019. Oh, what's damn? Literally, Infinite trying to channel around the same time COVID hit. Around about that, yeah. Nice. And now I've been for 11 weeks, 11 months, 4 weeks, and 1 day. It feels like longer than that as well. I feel like we've known each other way longer than that. Yeah, maybe. That's still a damn good amount of time. But have I just thought it's been longer, or has it, or is it just Twitch being funny with how long you've followed for, as it sometimes does that? There should be one. Oh yeah, way away. Way away, away. Gonna go. Oh no, it's meshed. Ah, there's a hole here though. Dear Kara, dear Kara. Fuck you. You won Californium 1 hour, 9 months, and 5 days ago. Damn, nice. You finished that, you enjoyed it. Hey, yeah, fucking A. I mean, I've gotten up to Blackrock Quarry before. How did I do it then? Did I just go down that elevator there? I thought I went down this way before because it wouldn't let me use the elevator. But it seems like that's the only way and that's locked. So, like, I'm guessing I can't go this way. Stair boat. Trip tough. Just a TV, just a TV just sitting there. Just a little fireplace going, man. One year since Arkham Asylum, damn. And it might have been 3 years, 4 months, 2 weeks. God damn. I don't think I can. No, not to there. Oh, I can fast travel to that lower bit actually in that cavern. You're right. Shit, my bad. So basically, the answer is yes. Yes, I pretty much can. I think I just came here because that's where I was last time for it, but I'm assuming, yeah, yeah, quarry entrance. In fact, that's a pretty good name for it. I might have been bowling. It's crazy how like the time has flown though. In August it'll be 4 years that myself and McCall have been streaming. Crazy, hey? Oh, this motherfucker's here already? Oh, if I could get up on that, that'd actually be sick. Yeah. Where'd he go? Oh, there you go. Nice.
I really saw it coming though. I should get these back down.
Easy peasy. Right here. So cool. Let's go tell Arish all his buddies are dead. Hey Arish, good news.
If they're in there, we go around that way.
They're not hisses anymore. Or hiss eye?
Here are the pouches.
Just hiss, maybe, I guess.
I found 6.
Well, that's all of them. Not counting mine.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just have to wear all of them.
That's not how it
Sounds
works.
sad, I know, but
You don't have enough space to wear that many
that's all I can
badges.
think to do.
Nothing's easy with the hiss.
I don't know.
Is it rude to ask
They
what's
haven't
inside?
they haven't come into
What's
the toilets
inside
yet.
the pouches? Too late now.
Now, the story's confidential, but, well, I guess I can tell you,
Snake.
being the director and all. So, the Bureau had heard rumors of a werewolf gathering upstate every full moon.
Oh.
Us being rookies, they sent us to confirm it was bullshit.
Hold on, is he about to tell me
I'd
werewolves are
say.
real?
Turns out, there was an altered item that was creating violent gravitational anomalies during full moons. Oh, man, we nearly bit it that night. Well, to remember the occasion, we all bought silver bullets to wear around our necks. Just in case we...
You're wearing a tie. Someone told him a bullet.
So why did you
Told him a
leave the
tie and
rangers?
told him it was a bullet and he believed
Thought I
him.
could do
What
more good here.
idiot.
Somebody's got to protect the people who protect everybody else, right?
Okay, well enjoy your
I have to
trauma.
go.
Me
I'll
too.
leave you alone with it.
You're not the only one who's busy, you know.
I am.
See you soon.
I literally am the only one that's busy in this place. Okay, so mission wise we're leaving that one. We can't do that one yet. And we do have some stuff that Artie's asked us to do. Talk to the plants. Let's quickly talk to the plants, and then we'll maybe have a break and move on. We'll need 3 for that one. Oh, what's the quickest way there? I'm hoping central research, because it looks like there's an elevator there, so I'm hoping it's a working elevator. Okay. Talk to the plants. Have a little dance. Get down tonight. That's not what I wanted. I think we're going where I want to go though.
Talk to the plants.
Yes, I hope.
Small talk was never really my strong suit.
Bunch of them.
At least they can't talk back.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
I hope your day has been productive, little plant.
Nice, good stuff.
That really works, huh?
Feel good though, don't you now? I try to discover.
I hope those nasty hiss haven't been bothering you too much.
Oh, it's looking radiant though.
I wish my leaves were as pretty as yours.
Oh shit. What you got? What you got? Nothing. Power punch. Oh, I don't know if I need to go to the lab. Oops. I'm going to be talking to the plants, not destroying their homes. I'm pretty sure I just killed that plant straight out, right? Okay. Power punch.
Do you have a family? I have a brother. I miss him a lot.
It's not like she doesn't know where her brother is. She found him. This one actually had a thing in here as well. Usually just has that one thing.
They say I'm the director, but what does that mean? I have no experience in leadership roles. I have no on-the-job training.
Alright, don't fucking put all of your world's worries on that poor little flower. It's focusing hard to, you know, stay alive and shit. Hey! I was talking to the flowers. Leave me be. Ow! I got him, but apparently... Oh no, he's there. Piece of shit. Oh, come on, I had one more flower to talk to. It's like you knew. It's like it's programmed to do that. Alright. Now where was I? Or is there still more? Oh, God damn it, leave me alone! I need to talk to the flowers. Hey, how you doing?
Your chlorophyll really brings out the green in your leaves. That's all of them. But I kind of wish there were more.
Right, that was a pretty nice little
They're
one to
good
do.
listeners.
Let's try and get back to... Thingy, what's up in there? Is this where I want it to be? I don't know. Oh yeah, it is pretty much. Sweet. Okay, then that next one I need 3. Okay. Upgrade charge, why not? Okay. Just make sure I did save there, yeah, cool. Okay, I'm going to save that there, and we're going to go to another little break, and then when we come back, we will probably jump into some RP, see what's happening in town.